Today, ladies and gentlemen, we answer the age-old question of Apex Legends, one that has been pondered by the greats and small folk alike. What is better, 2 SMGs or 2 assault rifles?
Corvus, what the f*** is this?
What do you mean?
You were supposed to be filming a return to ranked this week, but clearly that didn't happen. Care to explain?
Well, yeah, you know, I just, technically I did start climbing. Look, see, that's progress right there. Call it what you will, but that's progress.
Oh, for God's sakes, you ran out of time this week, didn't you?
Sorta. Wait, what are you doing?
Ordering you a planner off of Amazon. God knows you need time management skills.
Thank you?
No worries. Now, what's your credit card number?
Yeah, of course. Well, he might not be a fan of it, but we're running with it. And also, yes, our triumphant return to ranked. We'll be back next week, I hope. So let's get into it. And just in the interest of time, we're gonna get some of the overarching positives and negatives for SMGs and assault rifles out of the way really quick. So, positives for SMGs. Your time to kill in close range combat is exceptionally quick. And to that point, your hip fire accuracy is much more consistent. For the negatives, number one, and it's a big problem for me, is you are going to chew through ammo like light beer at a freshman dorm party. Just getting started and it's gone. And the other one, which is rather obvious, is your medium range to long range fights you are extremely limited. Sorta. There's one caveat to that, but we'll get to it. For the positives of running 2 assault rifles, at medium ranges, you probably have the best chance of winning the fight. Also, they are plentiful throughout the game, so finding one isn't exactly a problem. For the negatives, your close range can take quite a hit if you have 2 assault rifles, but again, there is a caveat to that, and we'll get to it. I know I said that twice. And the other big negative would be if you don't find extended mags, some assault rifles kind of get kneecapped, but yeah, really the negative is the close quarters fighting with assault rifles. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. So for the absolute top tier of dual SMG madness, we have the Prowler and the Volt. Look, outside of the fact that the Prowler absolutely shreds opponents with broken shields, I mean, it's literally 1 or 2 bursts and he's gone. The Volt with a red dot and a stock weirdly gets a lot of range out of it. I know with energy ammo, they have a lot less drop off, so that definitely plays into it. But the fact you can just throw a red dot and a stock on it and you can pretty much fight equally in a mid-range fight with an assault rifle is kind of nuts for its rate of fire. 10 out of 10 would highly recommend it. It's so much fun if you get your hands on it. The only time it becomes a little dicey is if it gets a little too close together and they barrel stuff you with a Peacekeeper. But moving on. For the S-, it's just as good as the first one. Honestly, this was probably going to be the top tier, but there's one inconsistency about it. That is the Prowler. Sorry, it's genuinely in such a good spot right now that it's a really fun weapon to use. Try picking it up. I guarantee you won't regret it. And the Alternator. Now, this genuinely was gonna be my top pick alone just from how fun it is to use and how easy it is to find this combination. But I noticed one inconsistency with it, and that's the Disruptor. An Alternator with a Disruptor makes this the top pick hands down every day of the week because you take their shields out and the Prowler puts them down. There's no in between on it, and the time to kill is disgustingly short. But without it, it's not anything super special. It's still good, don't get me wrong. I can't really say anything's bad about it, but I feel like if you don't have the Disruptor, you're kind of want to pick up a Volt so you have a little bit more distance that you can shoot from accurately. You kind of can with the Alternator, but the drop off can kind of kick you if they're a little too far out anyway. But yeah, if you find the Disruptor for the Alternator and you also take the Prowler, just give it a shot. It's a little shocking how quickly people go down. Granted, you hit your shots.
That's funny. That's something you just can't seem to ever do.
I was trying to find a way to not put you in this video, but you're gonna find a way to be in here, aren't you?
Of course.
Great. Well, on to the bad stuff. Now, for what I'm lovingly calling the F tier, none of these guns are bad in their own right, but together I ran into problems I was not expecting, and it's the same problem for both of them. One's just worse than the other. In F, I have the R99 and the Alternator. Now hang on before y'all jump me. The reason this is so far down here has to do with 2 things. One, the R99 feels off and I can't put my finger on what's wrong with it.
Besides the fact that you suck with it.
Shut up, I'm making a point. And 2, running 2 SMGs that are already gonna chew through your ammo and you're using both of the same ammo type was just a recipe for disaster. I had a purple mag on each of them and every time I reloaded, it looked like I just was dropping ammo around the map. Now, I could be entirely wrong about this. If you are perfect perfectly capable of hitting your shots. I'm not, but you might be. This might work pretty well. There's still the option of the disruptor, and I think if you do have it on the alternator, it fixes this quite a bit. But again, you're relying on a hop up on the ground or finding one somehow, and I feel like if your entire build is based around a hop up, that's a problem. So I don't know, give it a shot if you want, but for me, this is bottom of the barrel. Now for the combo that didn't even make it in the barrel, they left that shit on the dock. It's the car and the R99. Now, I know a lot of people love these weapons, but together, again, might just be a me problem, but I ran out of ammo so quickly, my head was spinning, and it had a little bit to do with the fact the car also uses light ammo, and I was not paying attention. So if you're a newer player and not used to constantly checking on your inventory, and you just have been reloading with the car over and over again, you might have ran through your heavy and now you're on your light ammo, so then the R99 doesn't have any ammo, so now you're in trouble. And also, with 2 SMGs, burning through ammo is already kind of a problem, but with these two that have a significantly higher rate of speed, just carry extra ammo. Just trust me on that one. I literally ran out of ammo every fight I got into. Yes, that says more about my aim than anything else. Shut up, my list. I don't want to hear it. I am the scientist here, and we are testing something that I never said was supposed to be smart. But at the end of the day, if you really do want to just run 2 SMGs and have some fun, I would highly recommend the Prowler and the Volt, or the Prowler and the alternator with a disruptor. If you can get that combo, oh god, it's so fun. But if you can't, just pick up a Volt and have something for long range, medium range. A little bit more range than right in front of you. Well, now on to everyone's favorite category of weapon.
Listen, just because your only consistent weapon is the R301, don't lump the rest of them into your, pathetic play style.
How do you always manage to call me pathetic?
Well, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Anyway, so for the undisputed S tier of assault rifle duo, we have the Havoc and the R301. Shut up! But in all seriousness, at medium range or close range, these function way better than I thought they were. I actually might start running this pretty normally. The Havoc at short range absolutely shreds anyone who's dumb enough to get close enough to it. And unlike the alternator, you really don't need the hop up for the Havoc. It helps, don't get me wrong, but you really don't need it. It's not mandatory. At long range, you have virtually no bullet drop off, and with the R301, you can also use that in close range because its hip fire is pretty consistent. Too bad I can't hit it. But yes, these two function together a little too well, so give it a shot and let me know what you think. For a slight downgrade, it's really not that noticeable if you're accurate. I'm not, but I can see where this would be deadly. We got the Hemlock and the Flatline. Look, I'll level with you. Anything more than about 10 feet away from me, I ain't hitting shit with the Flatline, but if you jump in my face with it, I'm mowing you down. So this one kind of falls into the category of, even if you're not super consistent long range with its wonky fire pattern, the Flatline in close range really does do some serious damage. In the Hemlock, do I really even need to say it about the Hemlock? At medium to long ranges, there's very few guns that just output that amount of serious damage. Granted, again, you need to be accurate with them, but even if you're not, if they're even at medium range, I've just absolutely destroyed some people with it, and that's coming from me. You know, the guy up until 2 months ago wouldn't pick up this weapon because I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn door with it. But we've improved, I dare say.
Improved, gotten lucky, same thing.
One thing. I want you to give me one thing. Now, before we go into the, shit tier of the assault rifles, I have to kind of preference none of them are particularly bad. I take that back. There's one combo that is kind of bad, but that's for a whole host of reasons, and we'll get into that next. But for this one, I kind of went with it's more redundant than it is actually a bad combination. And that is the R301 and the Flatline. Now, hear me out, because both of these guns in their own right are great and fabulous and amazing to use. If you have played for more than 10 minutes, you know these guns are great. Picking them both up was weird because I wound up only using the R301 or only using the Flatline in the games that I played it. Pretty much whatever one I was holding was the one I was gonna use. And that goes down to they pretty much do the same thing. They're both consistent short range. They're both kind of consistent long range. The R301 a little bit more because it's a little easier to handle. But it very much feels like I have two of the same gun. Why the hell wouldn't I just pick something else up? So yeah, it's F tier strictly because it's redundant, but yeah, if you can't tell, I didn't really have a good spot for this one because the only bad combo is the Nemesis and the Hemlock together. Now, again, the Nemesis or the Hemlock in their own rights are great triple round burst weapons. But if you put them together, you don't have any close range for the most part unless you really know how to use the guns. The biggest problem I ran into is I could smoke people who are at medium to slightly further away.
Oh, that was greatly descriptive.
Yeah, that was bad. But anyway, running 2 triple burst weapons, actually, before I shoot myself in the foot on this one, running 2 triple burst assault rifles just feels wrong, and you get rather limited in what fights you can take, because if they're already in too close, you kind of have to make space to make them super effective. They're not by any means bad if you're hip firing them, but the triple round burst in close range versus an SMG, a shotgun, or even another assault rifle that doesn't have the triple round burst, unless you're super accurate, it's gonna be a pretty clear winner most of the time. Not to mention, this just feels kind of weird that you don't have a backup that you could just hold the trigger down and hope to spray him down. Instead, you pull out your secondary and you're still going click, 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 trying to hit the guy. I don't know. I feel like from talking to a few people, a lot of people actually like this combo because the Nemesis is strong and the Hemlock is very strong. So put them together, you should have a recipe for carnage, so to speak. But I think for 99% of people who are more average players, I just really don't think you're gonna enjoy this. Well, that's about it from me, and I must say our experiment was a resounding success.
Oh, please don't lump your moronic actions in with science. Lord knows they don't need the disrespect from someone like you.
What in the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Well, scientists are typically intelligent and insightful and make for the betterment of society. And you're, well...
Yeah, you don't have to finish that thought.
Some idiot on the internet.
Okay.